Welcome to the training for a positive pay within the internet banking for River Bank and Trust. The first thing that you will do is log in. If you haven't already done the first time login process, please see the video related to that. For those that have, you will enter your username, the appropriate security question answer, and your password. Once you've successfully logged in, you will navigate to the Cash Manager and Positive Pay. When you get here, the first area you'll be brought to is the checks issued. You will have two options here. If you want to manually key in an item, you can do so here by clicking on the Add Issued Check, choosing the appropriate account that the check belongs to. In this case, the user only has the one, so that is the only option. The serial number for that check, right date, amount, and if you would like, the payee. Once you have that information keyed, you will simply save that, and it will hold in this list. The other thing that you may see here is if you were to import the information, those imported checks will show up here to let you see and maybe make any changes to those items that have been imported. Import file is going to allow you to use either a CSV or a fixed length file to bring in multiple check items. To do so, you will click the Select File option. It will browse out to your computer, and you will choose the appropriate file. We will start with a CSV example. After you choose the appropriate file, we do default to the comma delimited or the CSV as the option here. You will then come down and tell the system the order of the information in the file. There are three pieces of information that are required at a minimum in any file. That is going to be the account number for which the check is written off of, the serial number, and the amount of the check. If you have additional fields, such as my file does, you can choose those from the left-hand side and add them to the fields in file. So once I have all of my fields over here, I'm going to move to the right. We have the amount excludes decimals. Checking this will tell the system that the amount field in this particular file does not contain any decimals, and when I check it, it will then assume that the two rightmost digits are the cents. Number of header lines to skip, we do have a maximum of 4 lines that can be skipped. In this case, my file has 1 header line, so I will put a 1 there. To save some time in the future, if all of my files are going to be laid out in this manner, I can simply come down here and put a name on a template here and save this. So the next time I come to import a file, rather than filling in all this information again from scratch, I can simply choose the appropriate template name from the drop-down here and click Load. That will then insert this as it is currently laid out. Once that is done, you simply click the Read File option here. And down here at the bottom, you will see the results of that file read. So we can see here my account number, serial number, right date for these particular items, amounts, and one of them happen to contain payee information. If all of that is correct, then I can go ahead and save that import data, and it brings us back to the Checks Issued tab where I do see those two items listed out here. The second option for import is going to be the fixed length file. The process for this is very similar. You will choose your file, You will then come down here and choose the fixed length option rather than comma delimited. Again, we require the same 3 items at a minimum, the account number, serial number, and amount, with the ability to add in the additional fields, should your file contain them. Where the fixed length differs is that rather than just telling the order, you also need to tell the length of each item. So in this case, if I count the space in between my items, my account field occupies 7-character length. My serial number is 5 characters in length. My amount field is 6. Payee is 4. And since the right date in this case is the last field in my file, I can leave it as a 0. The system will know that everything remaining is going to be that right date. Now, one thing with the date, if you do choose to include it in the file, is that it will need to be 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and a 4-digit year. If it is not in that order, the system will let you know that it cannot read it in because it does not meet that standard. Once you have the fields lined out with their length, you still do have the options for excluding decimals and header lines. And I would recommend going ahead and saving this as a template, just like we did with the CSV, because this one is a tad bit more cumbersome in trying to update. So as long as your file contains the same links each time, the template is definitely the way to go. Once everything is good as far as order and length, we will hit the Read File option. And just like with the CSV, it is going to list that information down here below for you to verify before you import it. Okay. Now, should there be anything wrong, if you put the wrong length for your field or anything like that, you will get told in the area right here what it cannot do. So if it couldn't parse the information or anything like that, if the date wasn't written out correctly, so forth, the system will let you know that information so you can correct it in your file and come back and do it again. Otherwise, after the import, if everything is good, you will click the Save Import Data, and again, it brings us back to the checks issued where we see those items listed out here. And if any adjustments need to be made, each item does have an edit field next to it there. You can go ahead and update that information. Or if you happen to bring in duplicate information, the delete option exists there as well. Our other 2 tabs in the Positive Pay Management area are your exceptions and decisions. So once you have uploaded your file or keyed in the information, whatever method is appropriate for you, if you should have any exceptions that are kicked back from the bank as far as checks are concerned, you will be able to go to your exceptions area, see those listed out here, and you'll be able to choose a pay or don't pay response. Once you've made those decisions, you would click Save Decisions, and the Decisions tab here will allow you to see a history of those. And that is it for the Positive Pay interface within Internet banking. You tell the checks or tell what checks have been written or sent out, and then should you have any exceptions, you have the ability to make those here and then see your decision history based off of those. Thank you.